Oh, G Fuel, G Fuel, G Fuel, G Fuel. Oh, I need this stuff bright and early in the morning, let me tell you. Alright, guys, I'm not gonna lie, it feels very weird not doing a Pokemon Sword and Shield video, because I've been doing a lot of it lately. But we are in 2020 now, so naturally, we should be celebrating what came in the decade prior. And that is exactly what we're going to do today, because today we are going to be talking about what I believe to be the game of the decade. Now, obviously, this is all opinion based, and I am going to mention some other games that I considered making my game of the decade. But if you disagree with my opinion, cool, awesome. Leave a comment. Don't be a dickhead about it, but leave a comment. Okay, cool. Let's talk about this. So, like I said, before I talk about the game that I feel obviously deserves to be titled the game of the decade, I want to talk about 3 games that I think were worth bringing up in this discussion. So the first honorable mention is one I feel I'm going to catch some shit for, because it is kind of a meme. A lot of people dislike it, but I really don't think you can dispute how much of an impact this game has had on the gaming community as well as media in general. And that game is Fortnite. Now, I get it. Like I said, not everyone loves Fortnite. But like I said, you cannot dispute how big this game has gotten and the impact it's had on everything. It has become a household name. Literally, like when the Black Hole event happened at the end of Season 10, my parents were asking what was happening in Fortnite. Like, that's how big this game is. My parents don't play Fortnite. My dad plays games, not Fortnite. So it's crazy to think how big this game truly is. I mean, it's consistently #1 on Twitch. And on top of that, they have so many crossover events from big media. Like, the Avengers had their own game mode, John Wick. There was Star Wars recently, and then there was even Batman for his anniversary event this year. Like, aside from Smash, what other game has so many crossovers between different universes? There isn't one. It's insane. At this point in the game, Fortnite is no longer just a battle royale game. It has essentially become a media platform. People and companies will use Fortnite as a way to get their products out there, like that big Star Wars event the other day where they showed off in-game a clip from the new Star Wars movie. Like, that's just insane, the way how big this game has gotten and the impact it has on people. And aside from that, the game is fun. Like, you can't deny it. It may not be for everyone, but the game is fun. It's undeniable. Look at the Twitch numbers. It's just a great game. And this is because of the constant changes involved with the seasonal changes or the new game modes added. Tons of new stuff is always coming into Fortnite, and they're always thinking of new ways to make the game fresh. So this game is just, it's big, it's fun, and it's always changing and always fresh. So it's worth mentioning. There's no other game quite like Fortnite. We got Tropical Rain today. It's so good. So the next game I wanted to mention briefly was The Witcher 3. This game was a big deal when it came out, and it came out in 2015, and it is still graphically stunning and pushes these current gen systems to their limits, especially the Nintendo Switch. Not to mention that the story and the gameplay found in The Witcher 3 is just top notch. With 150 hours of content included in the DLCs, it's just insane how much time you can actually sink into The Witcher 3. Not to mention that's increase in popularity of late, because not only of the Switch re-release, the port to the Nintendo Switch, which is amazing in its own right, the fact that that big a game can run on the Nintendo Switch, but also because of the recent release of the Netflix Witcher show. The numbers have just been climbing on Steam for concurrent players on The Witcher 3, and it's just really cool to see more people kind of getting into this world. This game, like the one that I consider to be the game of the decade, it just, every playthrough can be different because you can choose different dialogue options, you can change how you build Geralt, and it's just really a bunch of different ways that you can create your own unique experience each time you play through the game. This results in every playthrough feeling very different from your last, giving you endless hours of content. If you really love this world, you can hop back in and change the way you played it the first time around. It's really fun. And my final honorable mention here is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I didn't feel right making this video and talking about the games that could potentially be the game of the decade and not bringing up The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I feel like I really don't have to say much about Zelda. It just did so much for the Zelda franchise. It took the series in a new direction, and it's loved by so many people, and I bet a ton of people are actually going to be very upset that I don't consider this to be the game of the decade, but I personally feel there is one that stands out above all, and we'll get to that here in a second. But Zelda, it was such a big deal on release. It was such a console mover for the Switch. If I don't feel the Switch would have performed as successfully on release if Breath of the Wild was not there and was not as amazing as it is. And it's because of all of this that I just wouldn't feel right not including this in the conversation because it was such a big deal and it was the game of the year in 2017. This game was huge and I cannot wait for the sequel. There's just so many things going on in Breath of the Wild, and I talked about it more in one of my must-have Nintendo Switch game videos if you want to know more about Breath of the Wild if you've been living under a rock and you haven't played it yet. But now we're going to move on to what I believe is the true game of the decade. So, we've talked about all our honorable mentions, and it's time to talk about the big game, the game to rule them all in the previous decade. And I truly believe that game is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, if you've had any conversations about the game of the decade and you didn't bring up Skyrim, there's something wrong with you. You obviously haven't played Skyrim. Skyrim is like a piece of art. It's insane how many people love and adore it, and it still has such a huge following, and the game came out in 2011. I was only 12 years old when Skyrim came out, and I got it for Christmas with my brother, and we booted that up when we got home from Christmas at our grandma's, and we started playing, and no game quite captured us like Skyrim. It was insane, and not only us, but all our friends who had also gotten Skyrim for Christmas. That was all we talked about, was our adventures in Tamriel, how we built our characters, what quests we had done, if we had joined the Dark Brotherhood or not. There's nothing that quite gripped us, or gripped just gamers as a whole, quite like Skyrim has. People are still modding the crap out of Skyrim. There's new mods coming out all the time, adding additional content and quests. It's a huge game that just keeps growing with the community behind it. And it's insane to watch. And even people like me who just go back and replay the game, there are huge numbers of people like that. And because it's on every freaking console that is out currently, it's so accessible to play Skyrim, and it's such a good game that there's no reason you wouldn't want to play Skyrim. Even just recording this stuff, starting a new file on my Nintendo Switch to get some recording for this video, I was like, yep, okay, I'm going to have to replay through Skyrim now because I'm hooked again. It's just such an amazing game. Like The Witcher, every time you play through Skyrim, something is going to be different from the last time you played it through. You can change your character, you can change how your character plays. Maybe you used magic the last time around and you're going to use melee weapons this time around, or you're going to be an archer or a thief. There's just hundreds of different variations you can do to really change each playthrough, and different quest options you could do, different choices that impact the story that you can choose. There's just so much variety in Skyrim, and the fact that it is still so popular, I couldn't think of a better game to consider game of the decade. When I was asked what I believed my game of the decade was by my friend group, Skyrim was the first thing that popped in my head. I didn't really think about any of the other games. It was definitely Skyrim, without a doubt in my mind. And like I said earlier, it's out on every system. It's out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, it's on last gen, Xbox 360 and PS3. It's on PC, it's on the Nintendo Switch, it's everywhere. You can play Skyrim anywhere you want to play it. It's amazing. And at that point, it's almost like a meme. Like, people are already talking about how we're going to get Skyrim Remastered Edition for the next generation of consoles this year. Skyrim is just a truly special game, and one I will always be happy to go back to time and time again. But that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and smash that subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. Also, I'm interested in knowing what you guys consider the game of the decade to be. Be sure to leave a comment below, but like I said at the start of the video, do not be a dickhead about it because I'll delete your comments. Also, we have a channel Discord. It's mainly for Pokemon, I'm going to be honest. Lots of people just come there to trade Pokemon and stuff. But we are trying to grow the Discord, and there are channels for other games. So if you're interested in hooking up with other people in the community and just trying to play games together, be sure to join that Discord below. All my other social media should be on screen here at some point, so be sure to check me out there if you're interested. But like I said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.